going into the studio the first couple weeks in November.
There we go.
With Jack and Dino.
Which studio is that?
He's working on a sound house right now.
Okay.
And I asked, because I have 7 original songs that I'm going to record plus Hell's Bells. And 2 of them I'm going to keep just me and my acoustic guitar. And then 5 of them I've asked Dana, our drummer, Dana Sims, to play drums, Misha to play guitar, and JC to play bass.
Nice.
So I'm keeping it in the family.
Very cool.
And what Misha has come up with on my songs is absolutely beautiful. And she just
like solos, or just
a lot of color,
okay.
Width. She's gonna do a couple solos because I was like, the solo I wrote ain't nothing. I know you can write better, so please take this over.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be crazy, but so you know, the people that buy the CD will hear these songs backed up with a band where I feel like it needs that extra power. But then there's still a couple of them that are completely naked and raw.
Good.
You know?
Good.
And I do have a CD with me of the rough stuff I'll let you listen to in the car.
Pass it over.
I'll let him listen to it in my car.
Mustang.
In the Mustang, yes.
What year's your Mustang?
67 coupe with a 302.
All right.
Aluminum headers.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Do you look back at videotape and critique yourself?
Oh god, every day, every time. Yes. There's videos that people have posted from like 2006 and I'm like, "Oh my god, take it down." That's not who I am anymore. Please, God. I'm so much better.
What's one of the most embarrassing moments you had on stage? Or, you know, like a mess up?
There's a few. In the beginning of Hell's Bells, for sure, because I was still getting familiar with a lot of the AC/DC songs, and a lot of them will start off with the same notes, but played maybe into slightly different rhythm or something, and I would blank, and I would look it down, and I would see the name of the song, and I would just be blank, and I'd have to run over to Mandy, who plays bass, and be like, "What's the first line of the song?" You know, and she'd be like, "Oh God, and then she'd tell me, and then I'd be fine,
right.
You know, but
you just need that little push.
But yeah, I mean, there were some of those like little hiccups, but we caught it luckily because they're a great band, so they're kind of looking at each other like, she might come in and she might wait a measure, you know.
Right.
But I think the biggest embarrassment, well, there's 2. First one, my first all ages show, we were playing the McDonald Theater in Eugene, Oregon. Huge, probably like 2,000, maybe a little bit more. And it was my first show, all ages, and it was my first show in front of that many people. And I was so nervous, and when I get nervous, I tend to swear a lot.
You said that a few times.
And so, yeah, so I was swearing.
Well, we're doing good. She hasn't cussed yet once.
Yes, I have, but that's okay. I like his selective memory. But I was saying the F word, I was dropping the F-bomb, I was saying like, shit, goddamn, you know, and just going, and Adrian is like playing lead, and she turns around to the band and she's like, "Make her stop swearing at the children." and you know, and so then afterward I got sat down very lovingly by like 4 big sisters, and they're like, "Listen, sweetie,
awesome.
All ages. It's 2 different shows. At the 21 and over, you know, still have class, but swear words every once in a while, it's fine. When there's children in the audience, do not swear at them, you know." The second biggest embarrassment, we were playing the Big Easy, which is now the Knitting Factory, and we were playing Spokane. And I was just being a feisty little one, you know, and there was a security guard right in front of me, and it was a song where it was like TNT or just something that has a lot of attitude. And I squatted down behind him, and I was like kind of just mocking him behind his back so the whole crowd can see me. But right as I squatted down, my jeans ripped from the top of my pocket on the inside all the way down to my inner knee.
From the front?
No, in the back. like all but, like from the inside of my pocket all the way down to my inner knees. So it's just a flap that's open like this big in my jeans. And so I just like stand up and back away, and I put a towel in the back of my jeans because there's like sweat towels on stage. And so I tuck a towel in the back of my jeans, and I finish the song, and I'm like, drum solo, and I run off stage.
You know, accomplishments that you can
well, there's two that come
brag
up.
about.
There's two that come up. Well, a few. Okay, let's say with Hell's Bells, we got to fly to Singapore. We played Beer Fest Asia over there a few years in a row, and that was amazing. Being able to tour internationally with music is
awesome.
Unbelievable. With Witchburn, putting out our full length. I mean, 13 songs, 73 minutes, the dedication and time.
Isn't it great when you get it? It's all the work.
And the outcome, I mean, all of it. Jack Endino's work that he did producing it. Mike Savoya's work that he did with all the art and photos.
Savoya's awesome.
He is. He's amazing. And just, I mean, I did all the lyrics. I hand wrote them all with like a red ink and a calligraphy pen, and just all the time and energy, because that was really like our first, like, this is us, you know, and the accomplishment of the outcome of what it is, you know, and when people listen to it, just the feedback that we get, it makes it all worth it, even though we're in debt up to our eyeballs, you know, which comes along with the territory, you know. So that, and then I would say the second biggest thing with Witchburn is being asked to open up for Slipknot.
Wow, I did not know about that. When is that? Is that up and coming?
No, we did it last October or November.
Rob, where were we? What the hell?
Well, if you remember, Slipknot, when they were coming through for Pain in the Grass, canceled because the drummer, Joey, was in the hospital.
Oh, that's the show we were gonna go to.
Yeah.
See.
So they canceled. So, I mean, we left early because we're like 10,000 Slipknot fans angry. We want to get out of here now, right? So we had been at that show.
Who asked you to open for Witchburn? Or, I mean, Witchburn. Who asked you for Slipknot?
Well, what happened is, so they were doing their makeup show. They were coming back and going to play for all the people that had the tickets for that show. And 3 Inches of Blood was going to open, and it was just going to be 3 Inches of Blood with Slipknot. Well, unfortunately, the bass player that passed away missed the flight. And so they had to push the show back, and they were in like an hour. And they were like, what are we going to do? We can't have these people just waiting. And Misha was working there with KSW, and one of the guys that does like just the event planning was like, you know Witchburn, right? Not knowing that she's in the band.
What the hell?
And he's like, you know, do you think we can get them to play? And she's like, oh, I think we can. You know? And so she makes a phone call to everyone, and I'm lying in bed watching rhythmic gymnastics. They're doing like the ribbon things, and I'm like, I got a Saturday off, I'm gonna drink beer, I don't have to do anything, the Olympics are on, this is awesome. And I get a phone call from JC, and I'm like, hello, and he's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm watching gymnastics. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm heading down to White River, you know, blah blah blah. So do you want to open for Slipknot? And I'm like, because he is a goof. Like, he likes to tell tales and whatever. So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, really, it was kind of like your Gene Simmons experience, right? So I'm like, whatever. And he's like, and I was like, are you lying? And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I was like,
because I'm totally busy watching gymnastics right now.
And I was like, well, yeah, of course. And he's like, okay, good. And I'm like, no, wait, what? Like, how much time do I have before I have to be there? How long of a set are we going to play? When are we playing, you know? So I call him back, and he gives me all the details, and he's like, have you heard from Jessica, our bass player? And I was like, no, why? And he's like, because nobody can get a hold of her, and we have to give these people a confirmation. And I'm like, crap. So everyone, her mom, all of the band, all of our parents, her dad, like all of her brothers, all of her friends are calling, and all of a sudden I get out of the shower, and he's like, okay, we heard from Jessica, you know, it's on, be there at this time. Okay. And so I'm like, well, where was she? Oh, she was taking a stroll around the lake with her fiance and left her phone at home. And I'm like, never leave your phone. You know? You must be tied to it at all times, you know. But yeah, and
we're having a moment.
Yeah, we showed up and got to play 45 minutes.
Did you get to meet the boys from Slipknot?
Actually, Misha's really good friends with Corey Taylor.
Nice.
So, yeah, just hung out with them, hung out with 3 Inches of Blood. When we started playing, there was like 7,500 people. By the time we were done, there was like 10,000.
Hey, yo!
Yeah, that was probably...
How did the response go for the crowd opening for Slipknot?
Well, I was worried because
Right.
Slipknot fans are like loyal and dedicated to like
Absolutely.
craziness, right? So, initially, they were a little tentative. There was, a few people that were just excited to be there, so they were excited about anything that was playing, kind of. But after the first couple songs, I mean, they just started roaring, and that power that they gave us.
They gave it to you,
that
and you
energy,
gave it right back.
yeah, that
Take it
energy.
back.
I mean, it was literally, you were just like, just soaking, just the rage of that many people, and by rage, like just their shouts and their energy that they're putting towards the stage,
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is good.
Where can we find a Witchburn album?
We sell them at all of our shows, and you can find all of those shows at Witchburn and MySpace. And we also...
WITCHBURN.
Yes, www.myspace.com/Witchburn. Yes. And also...
Any local stores people can go pick them up at around here?
Not yet.
Okay.
No. We're kind of waiting for that UPC code thing.
Oh, gotcha.
But we will also sell them if you want it to get it online. You can go to our PayPal account. So you just go to PayPal, and then it'll ask you for a email address, and it's witchburn@hotmail.com. And you can send $12 and your address, and we'll...
You can send more if you like, too.
Yeah.
It's okay to
T-shirts,
send 20.
whatever you want.
Who gave you your first guitar, or did you buy it, and how did you know you wanted to play guitar? Or what was the feeling that you felt when you were,
The first guitar that was ever given to me was by this guy named Kay, who was a 7-foot Japanese guy with dreadlocks down to his knees.
Did you play basketball?
No, but he was amazing. And he could play anything. And it was just this really small acoustic that was a piece of crap. And when I started writing on it, I was like, because I played the piano as well, but to play the guitar, I was like, yeah. And I just liked the sound of it. I always loved the guitar,
What kind of guitar was it?
I don't even know.
Acoustic?
It was an
electric?
acoustic.
It was an acoustic
Yeah,
guitar?
just acoustic, small body. It was small. It wasn't a standard size,
Right.
And and I started messing around on it. But I always knew I wanted to singing and being on stage, and even in church, like watching the people up on, on the stage, because at our church it was kind of a stage.
You knew it.
I was like, oh, I want that, So I was always in theater, musicals, all of that, choir. So singing was always really an integral part of my life. And I played the piano young. And so that was always in it. And I never really picked up the guitar until I had, a boyfriend for a while that played the guitar, and I really got into that. And I got my guitar and really started playing it. And and then I was like, wow, I can really write with this instrument. It's easier for me to write with. And then got in like a punk rock band for a while. And so I got my first electric, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome, But I couldn't solo, and I was so frustrated because I was like, do it, And so I was like, I really need to figure out what I'm doing. So then I went and saw, his name is Aaron, and he plays in a band called Akimbo. And I was like, okay, I want lessons. I want to learn. Because, I'd picked up books for the chords, and I'd gotten all the chords down and bar chords and all that stuff. And I was like, no, I really want to learn how to play. Like, play. So went to a few lessons with him, and he just gave me just exercises to strengthen my fingers and to work on blues bends and stuff. And, and that's when I really got excited about it. And just...
Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being here with us today. You are not only just amazing vocalist and upcoming, singer, songwriter, but very cool person. I was honored to be here with you, talking with you today. She rocks. Guys, Jamie Nova, solo album, Witchburn, all original album, Hell's Bells, her cover band, AC/DC Tribute. Check her out. find her, Google her, go to her shows,
Go
support
to the shows.
original music.
Yes.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Guys, peace out. Rock on.